welcome to my channel. My name's Summer. Today we will be doing a 60-minute yin yoga class for emotional release. For today's class, you will need a yoga mat or whatever you have available to you. Also, if you like to have some props, you can have a blanket, bolster, some blocks, anything that will make your practice a little bit more comfortable. We will be holding these poses for an extended period of time, so maybe you don't need the prop right away, but just have it close by, and maybe you find yourself midway feeling that you need just a little bit more support. You could also just opt for that during that time. Just have it close by if you need it. If you use it, great. If you don't use it, great. It's really your practice, and make it the way best suited for you. Now, when we practice yin, it's best to do it in a cool room. If you like to have some music on, you don't like my music that I have going on, that's fine. Just have something calm, relaxing playing. So whenever you are ready, just have everything close by and meet me right back here. And we're going to start our practice in the easy seated pose. So however you feel most comfortable, having your legs crossed. If you like to have a little bit more support, you could also have a blanket underneath your bottom, and it can just raise you up a little bit, and it can make this seated position a little bit more comfortable for a longer period of time. And as we sit here, we're going to begin tuning into our breath. You place your hands on your knees and sit nice and tall. Close your eyes and begin to bring awareness to your breath. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And just begin to notice the way your breath moves through your body, the way it warms up in through your nose, down into your lungs, how it inflates your belly. And notice how that warm air has changed as it exits your body. We use the breath as a tool in our everyday lives to help calm us down, to help cleanse our bodies, and help cleanse any emotions that come up. Try to find some evenness in your breath. If you're inhaling for 3, try to exhale for 3. The more we practice coming back to our breath, the easier it is to access our breath and its calming properties as we move through our days. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. You're gonna open your eyes. From here, we're going to go into a butterfly pose. So we're going to bring our feet together and we're gonna let our knees open up. So have their feet together, knees open. Now here, some people may be able to make it down to the floor, some may not. And wherever you are, it's okay. Some people are able to have their feet a little further out, while others can bring it closer. So wherever you are today, you're at home, you're in your own practice, whatever feels most comfortable to you. There's no comparison. The only thing you're here for is for yourself. So just bring yourself into a butterfly pose and just let the knees fall to the side. And you can fold forward, but if it becomes too much at any point throughout this practice, you come back up to a seated position. And begin to make your way forward. If you still want to be in a forward position and this is too much, you can always use a bolster in front to just give yourself a little bit of support. If you can make it all the way to the ground, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. Just meet yourself wherever you are today. Remember, keep coming back to the breath as things start becoming difficult. Take a deep inhale. Deep, soothing, cleansing. Exhale through your mouth. Slowly bring your knees up. Shake it out a little bit, move it side to side. And we're going to go into child's pose. From here, we're going to go into a tabletop position. We're on our knees and our hands. We're going to bring our knees as wide as our mat. And you bring your big toes together. And some people have difficulty in this pose and they cannot have their feet flat on the mat. If this is you, you can always curl your toes under and take this type of child's pose. And we will be here for a few minutes as we do in yin. So if you like, you can always have your bolster in front of you, and just get comfortable and however you like in this pose. So bring your knees out, and when you're ready, I'm going to fold forward. Now you can have your hands straight in front of you. You can also have them bent closer to you, or you can have them laying on your sides. So positions, you have them on your sides, here close to your face, or extended forward. And if you end up leaning on one side, make sure to turn your head and rotate the other. Begin taking a deep inhale and a cleansing exhale. Let your breath wash over your body and use every exhale to let everything go. And slowly begin to rise up, coming on to all fours. Our next pose will be Sphinx pose. So we're going to get on our bellies. And we're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders. And from here, we're doing a little heart opener. So our upper portion of our thoracic spine, so our upper portion of our back, it will be the part that it will be curving. So we don't want to dump a lot of stuff into our lower back. This is all about opening up through the heart area. You can also make this a little bit more comfortable for you. You bring your elbows underneath the shoulders and you rest here, and then you're really pulling and opening and lengthening through that thoracic spine. So this isn't a very resting pose. It's going to be engaging. We're opening up through that heart area, sending our breath into our hearts. Try to bring some evenness to the breath. Sometimes being in any kind of back bend causes our breath to go short and shallow. When we take control of the breath, we can control of our emotions. Take a deep inhale and really move through that thoracic spine. Elongate with every inhale. Push through the ground and lift. Elongating with every inhale and exhale. Begin to lower. You take a moment right here. Place your head on the floor. You probably feel it all through the shoulders, a little bit through the back, all that engagement. A lot of things open up through the chest, a lot of things being released. Just use the breath to wash it and let it. Let the breath wash over your body, wash over all that sensation, and let the breath pull it out with every exhale. And when you're ready, place your hands on the mat. Come up into a downward dog. We're not going to stay here for very long. We're going to move into swan. We're going to start moving deeper into all those emotional pockets, our hips, where the seat of our emotions is where it usually lies. That's where they mention that our emotions are very tied to our hips. And we have very tight hips, and loosening them up starts bringing up some emotions. Sometimes that's exactly what we need to get through. So from here, we're going to bring our right knee close to our right hand, and we're going to move this left leg back so it's straight behind us. And from here, the right foot could either be bent close to the groin, which would be less intense for the hip, but if you have more openness to the hips already, then you can move your foot to be parallel to the top of the mat. Just flex your foot towards your nose. You're going to dorsiflex your foot just to protect the knee. So from here, we're going to reach forward and go into a sleeping swan. But if that's too much, you can always stay upright and just have your hands for support. Some people need a blanket underneath their bottoms here because they're much higher. You can also, so if you're up higher like this, you can place a blanket or a bolster or block wherever you're at here, and just to give you some support while you're in this pose. If you fold forward into a sleeping swan, you can, whenever your body feels it needs to, come back up into just a seated swan. We're going to fold forward. Just remember to come back to your breath. Is working with the hips. A lot of things do start coming up. A lot of emotions. Just breathe through it. Try to find evenness in the breath. Focus on the breath. Use the breath to cleanse. Every inhale cleanses your body, and every exhale takes it all away. They say the pose begins the moment you want to leave. And when it comes to these hip openers, there's going to come a point while you're in it that you start feeling uncomfortable. Things start coming up and you want to get out. But this is the time that you really focus on the breath. You focus on everything you've learned. You focus on really bringing attention to those areas that have possibly been neglected for so long. You just bring some love and kindness and just some attention to that area and just breathe through it. Take a deep inhale and exhale through your mouth. Come up if you were in a sleeping swan, and place your hands on the mat. Curl those back toes under. We're gonna bring that right foot back, and we're gonna go into a downward facing dog once again. You can move around a little bit here. Go back and forth. However your body calling you to move right now. We're going to repeat on the other side. So we're going to bring our left knee close to our left hand. And we're going to bring that right leg straight back. So adjust yourself however you like, whether you bring that foot close to the groin or you have it parallel to the mat. You use the bolsters, you can use a blanket, however it is that you need. Each side is a little different, so some people will notice there's one side they're able to get into this a little bit more than on the other side, and that's fine because that happens. Not everybody is created equal on each side. Each side has its points that need a little bit more love. So just figure out where you're at today and get yourself to the point to where you can either fold forward or you can stay seated upright. And we're going to stay in this pose for a few minutes again. And remember, just keep coming back to the breath. The thing with yoga, this is a breath practice. We need to work on coming back to the breath as things become difficult, as emotions come up. Just work on the breath. Focus on the breath. Use our breath as our guide. You don't have to stay in one space the whole time. If you like to go from sleeping swan and sit upright, you're more than welcome to do that whenever your body calls for you to do that. Remember to slow your breath down. When we control our breath, we control our emotions. When we control the breath, we're able to see the emotions. We're able to work through them. We're going to take a deep inhale and a deep cleansing breath out. Place your hands on the mat. Come up if you've been in sleeping swan. And from here, we're going to get grounded onto our mats. Curling toes under. We're going to bring that left foot back and go up into a downward facing dog. We're just going to move our bodies in any way it is calling us to do. Maybe it's no movement. Maybe it's a little bit of swaying. Maybe just moving the knees a little bit. Little C curls. However your body's calling you to move right now. From here we're going to go into a seated position, shoelace. So we're going to bring our right knee down to the ground. It's going to be so we're going to bring our right knee bent, and then we're going to bring our left knee. They're both going to be bent, and we're going to have them stacked over one another. So our feet are going to be at our hips. So this is called shoelace, like tying a shoe. So sometimes finding this position, we're going into like a table type of thing. We're just bending our knees and bringing them kind of stacked over one another. This can be pretty intense for some people. So you see how this looks from the front. So each foot is on each side. And from here, we can stay right here and spend our time here in this pose upright. We also have the option to lean forward. So there's a lot of hip opening happening throughout this practice. And as I mentioned before, there's so much happening in our hips. There's so much being held in our hips, and we need to start working through those emotions and letting it all be released in order for us to be able to work through that and move forward. So here we could just go forward, or we could stay seated upright. You could take a bolster if you'd like to be forward, just to give it a little bit more intensity. Some people can fold all the way down, some can't, some just want a little bit like this. That's fine too. However feels best for you today. This can be pretty intense for some people, like if your feet start hurting, if anything's hurting, pinching, it is not okay. Don't think that's what needs to be doing. Rearrange your body a little bit so that it doesn't give you that sensation, because nothing should be pinching, hurting. You're going to feel uncomfortable in the hips. You're going to feel that stretch. You're going to feel some things there. But in other places, if your knee is cracking, and we need to support it and protect it, and you just need to rearrange. Sometimes bringing that foot dorsiflex can help with the knees. Maybe just moving it a little bit further away from the body. Maybe that works for you. Everyone's anatomy is different. So what works for one person may not work for you. So it's just a practice where you keep coming back and figuring out what's the best way for you to get into a certain pose and how that's going to work best for you. So just keep coming back, figuring it out little by little, but nothing should pinch, nothing should hurt. Uncomfortable we will be though. Take a deep inhale through your nose and a deep cleansing breath out through your mouth. Come up from, if you've been on the floor, come back up. And from here, we're going to do it onto the other side. So you can go forward into tabletop. And then you're going to switch sides. So this is how I get into it. I find it the easiest way to do it. So I cross the right knee over the left from behind, and both legs are bent. And then I slowly make my way to seated once again. And from here, I start adjusting myself and see what works, what doesn't. As you can tell, this is a much larger gap than the last time. So I know I have some issues with my left hip. So this is what's going to happen. And this is just where I'm at today. We'll try to stack as much as we can, knee over knee. And from here, you can either stay seated or you can lean forward. So, and if you're leaning forward, you don't have to stay there the whole time. Whenever your body calls for it, just come back up and just stay seated in this position. Just come back to the breath as things become difficult. You know, work with your breath and creating that peace, the internal peace within you, so that you can get through the hardest of times, because that is the one thing that will help get you through most anything, is the way you respond to everything, the way you're able to get in tune with yourself, with your breath as things become difficult. It will really, really help you get through a lot of difficult moments of your life and your practice. And from here, you can Remember, try bring some evenness to your breath. If you're inhaling for count of 2, exhale for count of 2. Inhale for count of 3, exhale for count of 3. Take a deep inhale, deep cleansing breath out through your mouth. And either unstack or you come into the tabletop to move forward. It just really depends on where your body's at. If you're able to come up to that tabletop, easy tabletop, to unwind from this. So our next pose is another deep hip opener, but we're going to open our hips in a different manner. It is frog pose. So frog pose, it's one of those things some people have a love-hate relationship with because it really opens up the hips, and we're going to open outwards. But staying in it can be kind of difficult. Some of the complaints are on knees. So if you have any blankets or anything that you use to cushion your knees, you use that. You could also use a bolster in front of you or a blanket to give your upper body support, especially if you're not able to go deep into this pose. So to get into it, we're going to be in a tabletop. You're going to spread your knees apart, and we're going to slowly come down. And from here, you're going to go onto your elbows. Now, if you can go further than this, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. You could stay supported on your elbows if you need to, or if you can go flat onto the ground, you can do that also. If this is too much for your shoulders, because we're really trying to work our hips today here, you can use a bolster to just give your upper body some support. And just make sure you place something under the knees, especially if you have hardwood floors or anything like tile. It can really put a lot of pressure in those areas, just being in the same position for an extended period of time. So legs could be at about, your knees are at like a 90-degree angle. You like dorsiflex the foot just to protect your knees depending where you're at. But all this is, you're going to feel it in the inner thighs. And if you lean back, so as in pushing your body backwards, you're going to feel it a little bit more intensely than if you were to lean forward. So the more of a 90-degree angle you're creating, the more of the, like a flat 180 across from knee to knee, the more intense you're going to feel it. So it's really where your body's at. Meet your body where it's at today. You push it to a point of discomfort, but nothing too intense where you're becoming hurt. We want to push the boundaries, but we don't want to overstep them in such a way where you cannot continue practicing. We want to do this safely and to gain benefit, not to hinder our progress, not to hinder our health. Just listen to your body, check in with your body, see where it's at, and do exactly what your body needs, not what your ego is telling you it needs. Take a deep inhale. A deep cleansing breath out through the mouth. Slowly begin to make your way up. You're going to place your hands on the mat. You're going to just bring your knees inwards so that you're just slowly coming out of this. And here, just take a moment. Just need a little bend here. Whatever your body's asking you to do to move. Move props out of the way if you need to, or just have them close by. We're going to move into a forward fold, the seated forward fold. So we're going to extend our legs forward, and we're going to just relax into a forward fold, draping our bodies over our legs. So if you like, you can also use the bolster once again. We're just gonna be moving forward here. Give that bolster a hug. It's not about coming all the way down into this, dragging ourselves, bringing our forehead to our knees. It's just allowing gravity to do its thing. And just slowly open the hamstrings. I love doing this, just hugging the bolster. Just relax here. Just keep coming back to the breath. You'll notice how certain poses will cause your breath to move a little quicker than others, and the other ones you're able to fully relax without even realizing it. Just notice what comes up during those times that your breath goes rapid. And notice how your body feels as you begin to slow down the breath during those moments. Take a deep inhale and just let that breath go through your mouth. Slowly make your way up. And we'll get back onto our backs. For a happy baby pose. And this really is such a cute little happy baby pose. I was doing it with my almost 2-year-old, and he is just so cute when he's into this. So here you're gonna bring your knees, you're gonna bend your knees, and you're gonna open up the knees. You're gonna go in and grab the outside edge of your feet. So for some people, this is all they can do. They keep your knees bent. But you can also open into about 90-degree angle, and you're a happy baby. And if you actively push down and try to bring those knees into the armpits, but you have to just relax here. You just let gravity do its thing. We're going to hang out here for a few minutes. If you like, you can rock back and forth a little bit. We are nearing the end of our practice today. You sit still, you can rock back and forth. You could do a mix of the two. Remember, you don't have to stay in one space, so if you need to, you could bend your knees, then come back to more of an open position. You bring one leg up at a time. If you do that, just do it slowly, because you will get some momentum and you'll start rocking back and forth. You don't want to over rock and slam into something that might be next to you. Sometimes we do have to practice in tight spaces, and we just want to make sure that we stay safe. Take a deep inhale in, and exhale it all out. Extend your legs in front of you. You want to shake it out a little bit. Did quite a bit with our hips today. And we're going to get into a reclining twist. So we're going to bring our right knee inwards towards our chest. And then we're going to bring that right knee over to the left side. And then from here we're going to open up and look over to the right side. So we're going to try and keep what we can, our shoulders down on the mat as much as we can, and just extend. Bring that left hand, you can place it on that right knee. And just going to be in this gentle twist. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Come back to center. Bring that knee to the middle and extend that leg upwards. And I'm going to bring that left knee in towards your chest. And we're going to move that left knee over to the right side. We're going to adjust here a little bit. We're going to open up in the chest area. We're coming over and looking over to the left side. Place that right hand onto the left knee. Inhale. And with every exhale, just bring everything out through your body with that twist. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, let it all go. Come back to center. And here we're going to go into Shavasana. So you lay on the ground with your feet as wide as your mat. If you have your props in the way, you can move those. Or if you like, use your props to get into Shavasana. Some people like to have more of an inclined Shavasana, so they will have props like a block adjusted in such a way in which they have the blocks there, they have a bolster. There you go. And then they just have like a blanket under the knees, and this is just their, oh, this is like the nice little comfy Shavasana. However you take it, just get into ultimate comfort for you. Just begin by relaxing the feet, relaxing every toe. Just let it go. Just let your breath wash over your feet and just allow everything to relax. Bring that same awareness to the rest of your leg and just allow it to just Relax fully and deeply. Relax your arms. Relax your shoulders. Relax the throat. Bring a softness to your jaw. Allow your eyes to smooth over, releasing the tension built up around your eyes and your forehead. Take a deep inhale and allow the breath to fill every cell in your body. And with a deep, deep cleansing breath out, let everything go. Let every worry go. Inhale and exhale. Let all of it go. And just sink deeper into the mat. Just fully relax here into your Shavasana. Let go of any breath pattern you may have. Just fully relax. Start to bring awareness to your toes, wiggling them, making little circles with your ankles. Bring some movement to your fingers. And just bring your hands over your head. Stretch them out. There's a big old stretch here. With your eyes closed, move over to the right side into a fetal position. Just take a moment for yourself here. When you're ready, use your left hand to push yourself back up into a seated position. Hands on your knees. Take a deep inhale in. And deep exhale out through the mouth. Bring your hands to the heart center. And take a bow. Thank you so much for being here today, for taking the time out for yourself to do this practice. If you have any questions, any comments, anything else you'd like to see, I am here to be of service. So please let me know in the comments below. If you please share, like, subscribe. There's plenty more coming up. I hope you have an amazing day. Namaste.